welcome to Tangent Mouse Studio D. I'm Kevin Delp, and today I have here with me Sean, the creator of Oracle's Civil War.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about Oracles, the history of Oracles.
I'm an architect by education, and I was working on a different augmented reality related project with a few friends, and that's when I realized if somehow we could bring augmented reality into board game, that would be really fascinating, as the board game is about creating and embracing your imagination and really see how especially in a fantasy combat board games, and augmented reality could be a game changer. So I did some research, and there has been some game that came, but what Oracles is about is completely different. It is a hybrid board game. So that you don't have to necessarily use a technology part if you're not a technology fan, or you could do a mix reality where you have the physical and the AR, or you could go really kind of adjust based on your style, based on the person that plays with you. So we came up with the idea, we showed it with few folks, and it seems things went going well, and we decided to start it as our first project.
Oh wow. Yeah, this looks really amazing to me. So why don't you tell our folks here just like a quick overview of Oracles, like what is the game about?
Absolutely. So the Oracles is a fantasy combat board game.
Okay.
It can be go from 2 to 10 players theoretically. We find out that 6 probably is a good number. Okay. One of the advantages is that it could be odd numbers, because you have 10 heroes on one side, the equal 10 heroes on the other side. There are 2 clans going into war. Each one have a sort of a base, what we call a tower in the game, and you have to occupy the other side's tower. Along the journey, you will have chests that you open up that will give you powers that will make you stronger. There are sub journeys that in the map. We have Healer's Lake, where its sub-journey will take you there and then give you, points. We have Temple of Power, where you could go there. We have teleporter points, where characters can enter into one, come out from the other side. And we have 2 superpowers in the game with their dragons that nobody owns them at the beginning, but as a part of your quest, you could go get their support. They enter into the game. They're really strong, and
be part of your clan.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. So the idea is that they are there for the people that ask for their help.
Okay.
And if you go there and defeat the dragon, then you get to add that super power and the dragon into the way. We have Dragon Master. You can collect dragon eggs, become a Dragon Master, where no dragon can attack you. Okay. So the game overall is really really about a journey, about having fun during the game with lots of dice. So
yeah, I was gonna say, I see on here. I see here. Look at all these dice, and these are pretty cool dice themselves. But tell us, like, you're rolling these dice to attack?
Yes.
Okay.
So the concept is that when you're battle, we can have individual battle, character against character.
Okay.
And through that, you'll throw dice. And then it's a very simple rule: the higher number wins.
Higher number wins.
You could also have chain battle, which is my own favorite, because you can really spend a lot of time thinking about your strategy on how you're going to create those chain battles, which is basically a group of characters fighting with the opposition's group of characters. Okay. And that's where we have like a 20-something dice on each side. We roll, and then we have to kind of count who has higher number, and then that wins. Okay. So for the dice fans, this game has a lot of that. So you will be throwing a lot of dice.
Or you can use your dice tower, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Very cool. So tell me, what do people find interesting about Oracles?
Yeah, through the community and fans, the most interesting part, obviously, the game is now out there.
Sure. This is all prototype. I want to let you know this is all prototype that you're seeing, but it's a beautiful prototype. I mean, and we'll delve more into that in later in the video. But yeah, so prototype.
Yes. So what we have received from test games is People like the fact that it is a very flexible game in the sense of it is a sort of a sandbox method, where while we have a map and we have characters and we have a storyline, really the objective is getting the other side. So for those folks who want to bring out their designer feelings out, and they can come up with their own map. They could suggest us. We have received a lot of feedback from fans how we can really change the map, make it even better. Suggestions about expansion, so that opens up the expansion, so we could come up with the same story with the same rules. Other maps come out, and the other interesting part that people like about it is you could play it very simple. So let's say if you have a kid 10 years old, 12 years old, you could have a simple game where you move the characters, you reach, you throw dice, the winner, and then moves. Or you can make it really complicated where you plan for chain battles, you plan surprising attacks. So really the game itself can work out with the amount of complexity you want to have. And obviously the most interesting part that we are working on it very, very hard is the augmented reality portion. And how the augmented reality fits into this. We'll get into it in a detail, but just the overall of how the augmented reality is part of this is, so typically a character moves, opens a chest, and opening a chest, we have 4 cards, different kind of cards. That you could you could decide to open which one based on your strategy. So the augmented reality could be used to replace all the physical chests completely. So when you land on a chest, it automatically opens up. It reads you the story.
So you don't even need to read. You don't have to look at.
You don't even have to look at the card. So the game will tell you what's going to happen next. Or it could be a sort of a mixed reality where you have physical chests and you have AR chests. Let's say if everybody wants to see it, or you could have where you have all physical chests and then no AR. So that's the flexibility of it, and then you could set up a game. Like you want an easy game, medium game, hard game. That's also a great advantage because depends on what your mood is that day. What is your opponent? Do you really want to have a nice, super fun that everything is good? Every chest you open has a positive point. Then you set it up in easy. If you want more complicated, more surprise, then you can set it up on a hard level. So that's a great advantage that many board games. You will never play the same game with this. If you play it 100 times, every time, will have a complete different outcome.
Well, before we dig in deeper into this augmented reality and how it works, tell us, this is a prototype right now, but you're going to Kickstarter.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, thank you so much for asking. We are a one-time, our first time is that we're designing the game. And
put a lot of work into it already.
Yes, and we have been funding it ourselves. And because of that, we need the audience's help, and that's part of why we are somewhat, going around trying to create awareness. We're trying to really introduce something relatively new to the board game industry and community, and we really need to get the project funded in order to make it successful. We're thinking of February 26th. For a release date, and from now until then we're completing our mobile application. We're looking into perfecting our rules, doing even more. We have done over about 120 test plays so far. We're planning to do a lot more, reaching it. Our goal is to do 500. So when the game goes out, it is a very solid game, which was our goal. So our goal was to come up with a fantastic game. And then introduce augmented reality to make it awesome, even much better. So yes, more towards end of February, on February 26th.
February 26, 2019 on Kickstarter. So let's take a moment and jump into augmented reality. I'm back here with Sean with Oracle's game, and we're going to delve a little deeper into the augmented reality. All right, so we have a hybrid game. Tell us a little bit more what augmented reality is.
Yeah, so the whole idea of using augmented reality is to create, it is a sort of a story about the game, and you have creatures that you have to fight. And typically in a typical game, you pick a card and says, hey, you got attacked by, a phoenix. You got attacked by a tiger.
And you're just seeing that in your mind.
Yes, and then you imagine it. So what we are doing, we're bringing that back to life, where you can really see it and enjoy it and basically have more immersive experience. The way I would show it is as I explained before as well. So we have mystery chests that open up, and that's where you find an special staff that will help you mind control other characters.
Okay.
So you imagine that, but here you can actually see it. It says you got the fire, arch, and arrow. So you imagine that, but here you can really see that how it looks like, and it makes the game with sound effects and music. It will make it really interesting. And what about the game is you don't have to play it that way all the time. So you could really do it when you're really in mood of that. Otherwise, you could just do it like a simple, no augmented reality, or really mix it to the certain level you want that creates the enjoyment. You could go as far as you put the VR glass, or do it more simple. So this is our app, and you select what game you want. We have two kind of games. One is the card game, which is a complete separate game. The fans will receive two games for one. It's a sort of a 2-for-1. One is a card game. You don't need a board. You don't need a map. It's just a card. You put them, you fight, and then we track how many points you have in your country, in your state, in your city. So really comparing to others, your dragon or your archer might be stronger in your city or in your province. So if for folks that are in Canada and in your states, for the folks that are in US,
they can be the world-renowned person of South Carolina or something.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really the idea, to create that community, make people interested and more active. So if it is a map, you select then you select how easy or hard it is. We don't have it yet here, but that helps to depends on what you play. And then once you scan the map. So we'll just get up so you can see. Once you scan the map, you will start seeing all these creatures and the chests that are against. So this mode right now is a sort of a mixture of having a physical chest and VR chests. So if you're opening a physical chest, then you take a card. If you're opening a VR chest, the way it works, when your character meets, let's say, a chest, the chest activates. And it opens up, and it will give you instruction of what is inside.
One freestyle heart. You received a winged blessing of the heart. Immediately give one heart to yourself or to any character. No need to use a messenger.
Or, for example, you may get to a VR character here. So that's the archer. The character, the jumper, now is getting into the archer, and the archer.
And that's your person that you're controlling?
Yeah. So we are controlling the physical character that is this, and then it moves when it reaches to the range that it can fight. So it will start attacking. Let me just get that, and then we'll look at another sample again. And then that's it. Or let's look at this.
What is that?
So that now we're going to show the Phoenix. Now this is the Phoenix, and then it would actually attack. So you would see how many stars this Phoenix has, and then your character against the Phoenix. Then you throw dice to determine who becomes the winner. And then the results increase their star, and then the VR character disappears if it is a VR creature from the map. And as you progress in the game, you will open chests and you open them up. So this is, for instance, the dragon if it is involved in the game. And of course, you also have the other dragons that are physical miniatures, which like that's, for instance, a physical miniatures that is in the game.
And you can go and interact with that as well.
Yes, and then you move that, and then this is another sample for the centaur, which will have it. So and if you want, you can have this like a phone. So a mode is that you have two leaders. The leaders see. So the rest of the players that will see all the physical elements. The oracles, the leaders will see more, so that will guide you. Say, hey, be careful. You have a phoenix here. You have a special chest here. It might be a star that they can collect. If everybody wants to see this and really experience it, it could be put up and then mirrored to a TV, so everybody will see that more immersive experience.
Sure.
Or if you're a fan of AR and AR glasses, any Google cardboards,
yes,
and the ones that come that are typically anywhere from $10 to $20, and we are giving it as a stretch goal, or as an add-on. You could purchase it, but if you have one, or you can buy one, or simply a Google Cardboard, you could go to this feature where you would put it in your VR glass, you put it on your eyes, and the whole game becomes live. and you can, based on how much of AR versus physical conventional game you want, you could really adjust it and go from there. So that's the map part, and then we'll have the card version that is really card-to-card battles.
Yes.
We'll go through that next.
Cool. So the game itself lasts about, like, say you're playing an easy, fun game. What's the game length about?
In general, the setup is typically about 5 minutes, I would say.
Yeah.
If you're doing it AR, then it's even less setup. It doesn't have as much.
Yeah.
The total gameplay is about between 60 to 90 minutes, depends on how you set it up.
Which is pretty average for a war-type game.
Yeah, and if you're going really, really technical, as I said, like, having a strategy, doing chain battles, really thinking about how your movements has to happen, then it may go to maximum of 2 hours. This is what our setup is. Cool. And our age, we're thinking that 10 plus would be really a good setup, because for a 10-year-old, you can set it up as an easy game. So if you're a family, you would like to have it enjoyed really more about having fun. Then you could set it up on easy. And if it is about really playing and make it more complex, then you'll set up on a hard setting.
Well, before we say goodbye, we want to look more at these cards that are in front of me so that our viewers can see those as well. So let's take a minute and look at some of these cards that are here.
Sure.
All right, so we have some character cards here. Tell me a little bit more about these.
Yeah, so the two clan, we have the one on the top here, which is Grimner clan, and then we'll have the Solon clan, and we have identical heroes. They look differently, but they have the same powers and same abilities that you can choose from during the game. And part of the augmented reality is our bonus game, or the second game that comes with this setup, where you can have sort of a card game without the map, without the physical miniatures. So you can have the cards battle, and the winner gains a point, and the points keep add up as you play more. You will have a higher points. That's the one we talked about, becoming, let's say, the highest point in a state or a city or the community that they're involved. And I can show you, let's say, these two samples.
Yeah, perfect.
So these two characters now can have a battle where we have a joystick where we could move them around, and they could attack. So for instance, here in this scene, we'll have the archer attacking, and here we'll have the dragon attacking.
Very cool.
And then once a character dies, then it disappears from the map, and then the winner is announced by the game, and it receives points.
Well, we were able to see a lot about oracles, did some gameplay, and just really delved into the augmented reality. There are a couple things that really stood out to me. Like the hybrid nature of this game, Oracles, really stood out because you could just play the board game without any of the VR, the augmented reality experience. Yes. But for those that like, computers and electronics, and they want that mixture, then they have that hybrid where they can use their phone or even share it so other people can experience it as well on a TV, exactly. Which is really nice. Or if they really want to be super immersive and they like to put the goggles on, like that to me is pretty cool.
That would be an option too.
The other thing I liked was the flexibility and how easy or how hard you want the game. I think that's nice, especially for a lot of people in our audience. They are maybe more family and they want something maybe they can play with their kids or something. Yes. As families, so maybe they want to have a little bit easier.
Yes, and it helps the fact that we are using screen and computer to to create this game, it helps, to bring younger generations that they may think, okay, you know what, board game is kind of,
board games are cool.
Yes, yeah. So he says, well, this is a cool board game because I always say, to take the kids out of the screen, you may want to kind of bring a little bit of screen into board games. So you'll create. So I think that would be very, very interesting and good family game as well.
I like that you're bridging the gap and using some newer technology. Augmented reality hasn't been around for a long time, and it's really neat how well it's been implemented. It's not just rolling dice or flipping a card. I mean, it's really integrated into the game, which I really appreciate that you spent time looking at how to make it part of the gameplay, which is wonderful. The other thing I really like, in a miniatures game is these are very well done miniatures. The art looks very nice, and I know these are just prototypes, but you can tell that your sculptor has done a great job with the miniatures, and I think that'll enhance the game experience for those that are doing the hybrid approach, or even just the main game without the hybrid. So, well, Oracles is coming to Kickstarter February 26, 2019.
Yes.
We have Sean here, the creator of it. And any last words where people could find more information about Oracles?
Yes, our website, oraclesgame.com. We have a sample of complete test plays, about 1.5 hours, if you want to see how every little minutes and seconds from the beginning to the end works out. We have our commercial, trailers there. We have talking about augmented reality in more details, where the technology comes. We have our story of the Partan, which is, the world that we're creating, how it was created, where the superpowers are coming from. So if for fans who like a story and storytelling, that we definitely suggest looking at it.
Can they sign up for to learn more information, or is there some?
Absolutely, and we have a pre-registration there, which we are actually giving away a special bonus for people that do pre-register in advance. And that would be more saving than people that later on will come as a part of the Kickstarter.
Good. Well, you go look at that at www.oraclesgame.com.
Yes.
Thank you, Sean, and we look forward to seeing this game out on Kickstarter and beyond.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for your audience to be watching this video today. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
That's a huge deal for many people.
Yeah.
Like they think, okay, we get this game because it has a lot of dice, or we don't get it because there's no dice in it. Like that's how big big some people are.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Here we go.